Hello everybody, welcome back. I apologize for not reporting on Sunday. A lot going on Sunday with the release of the Epstein files and all that. But anywho, I am here today on Wednesday night. And don't worry, this is not going to be a very long video. Unfortunately, I'm quite tired. It's been a very exhausting and draining week. So I'm just going to be very brief. And because to be honest, Deuteronomy is mostly just kind of like a review of all the rules and whatnot. They do go over a little bit more detail, Moses' death and everything like that. But we talked about that mostly. I kind of just want to talk about the main chapter in Deuteronomy. The main, and I think for the purposes of our videos, the most important chapter in this whole entire book. And that is Deuteronomy 28. Now, this is where Yahweh is talking to Moses or the priest or whoever, and explaining to them, the blessings for being obedient to all these rules and the curses for disobedience. And it is shockingly cartoonish how much smaller the blessings section is than the curses section. So yeah, not quite as many blessings as there would be curses for disobedience. So, already it's a lot of bit of manipulation and emotional mind control tactics. But basically, to give you a really short version, the blessings for disobedience, they'll have the best lambs, the best crops. They'll always have dough for bread. They'll be blessed when they're coming, blessed when they're going. No enemies rising up against them, will be prosperous. In fact, they'll be better than everyone that they're around. They'll be the quote unquote holy people. Things like that. I could see how that would be appealing. But then he really gets into the curses, and there it is quite extensive. It is quite long. I'm going to try to read as much of it as I can. To be honest, when I read this again for the first time in a long time, when I read this again today for the first time in a long time, I kind of feel like I haven't given Yahweh enough credit quite for how evil he truly is. These are some venomous things that he is saying that will happen to them if they do not obey. And so without any further ado, I'll begin. The curses begin at verse 15. However, if you do not obey the Lord your God and do not carefully follow all of his commands and decrees that I am giving you today, all these curses will come on you and overtake you. You will be cursed in the city and cursed in the country. Your basket and kneading trough will be cursed. The fruit of your womb will be cursed. The crops of your land, the calves of your herds, the lambs of your flocks. You will be cursed when you come in and cursed when you go out. The Lord will send on you curses, confusion, and rebuke in everything you put your hand to until you are destroyed and come to sudden ruin because of the evil you have done in forsaking me. The Lord will plague you with diseases until he has destroyed you from the land and you are entering to possess. The Lord will strike you with wasting disease, with fever and inflammation, with scorching heat and drought, with blight and mildew, which will plague you until you perish. The sky over your head will be bronze, the ground beneath you iron. The Lord will turn the rain of your country into dust and powder. It will come down from the skies until you are destroyed. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will come at them from one direction, but flee from them in 7. And you will become a thing of horror to all the kingdoms on earth. Your carcasses will be food for all the birds and the wild animals, and there will be no one to frighten them away. The Lord will afflict you with the boils of Egypt, with the tumors, festering sores, and the itch from which you cannot be cured. The Lord will afflict you with madness, blindness, and confusion of mind. At midday you will grope about like a blind person in the dark. You will be unsuccessful in everything you do. Day after day you will be oppressed and robbed, and with no one to rescue you. You will be pledged to be married to a woman, but another will take her and rape her. You will build a house, but you will not live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will not even begin to enjoy its fruits. Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes, but you will eat none of it. Your donkey will be forcibly taken from you. It will not be returned. Your sheep will be given to your enemies, and no one will rescue them. Your sons, your daughters will be given to another nation, and you will wear out your own eyes, watching for them day after day, powerless to lift a hand. A people that you do not know will eat what your land and labor produce, and you will have nothing but cruel oppression all your days. The sights you see will drive you mad. The Lord will afflict your knees and your legs with painful boils that cannot be cured, spreading from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. The Lord will drive you and the king you set over you to nation unknown to you or your ancestors. There you will worship other gods, gods of wood and stone. You will become a thing of horror, a byword, and an object of ridicule among all the peoples where the Lord will drive you. You will sow much seed in the field, but you will harvest little, because locusts will devour it. You will plant vineyards and cultivate them, but you will not drink the wine or gather the grapes, because worms will eat them. You will have olive trees throughout your country, but you will not use the oil, because the olives will drop off. You will have sons and daughters, but you will not keep them, because they will go into captivity. Swarms of locusts will take over all your trees and the crops of your land. The foreigners who reside among you will rise above you, higher and higher, but you will sink lower and lower. They will lend to you, but you will not lend to them. They will be the head, and you will be the tail. All these curses will come on you. They will pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you did not obey the Lord your God and observe the commands and decrees that he gave you. They will be a sign and a wonder to you and your descendants forever, because you did not serve the Lord your God joyfully and gladly in the time of prosperity. Therefore, in hunger and thirst, in nakedness and dire poverty, you will serve the enemies the Lord sends against you. He will put an iron yoke on your neck until he has destroyed you. Pause. Now that was a mouthful. Did you like the dramatization of it? Listen, that wasn't even half of the curses. I mean, literally, that was verse 48 where I just let it off. I mean, it goes on and on and on. I mean, there's like almost 30 more verses of curses. That was like just half of it. I just couldn't keep going. Like, it was just so hateful and vile and venomous. Like, I couldn't just keep saying all that. Like, but anyways, like, so yeah. What does that seem like to you? Does that seem like much of a free will choice? Does that actually sound like rules of a free nation? Does that sound like they were actually set free to you all? And let's not forget, shortly after he gives this enlightening speech, Moses, and like he pretty much lets Moses know, okay, it's time for you to come up this mountain and die. Just so you know, they're not going to listen to anything I say. And pretty much all of those curses I just said, all that's going to happen. All that's going to happen. I'm going to pretty much torture all of your descendants for so many generations that they're just a bunch of numb mind control slaves because of all the trauma and torture I'm going to inflict upon them. And Moses gets like angry right before he goes to die and gets mad at him, like, you dumb dumb people. I already know that you're going to disobey these rules. I already know this. And then he, like, goes up Mount Nebu and dies, I'm sure, of totally natural causes. Even though the exact scripture is, hold on, let me find it. So yeah, Deuteronomy 34, verse 7. Moses was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyes were not weak, nor his strength gone. So yeah, it doesn't totally sound natural, but anywho, that's where he died. He went up on Mount Nebu and died, and then Joshua takes over the clan. And on all that positive, enlightening motivation for them to continue on with this legacy that Yahweh wants them to continue on with. I mean, it's just, even if you agreed with these rituals and all this weird stuff that Yahweh had them doing and everything, like just this threatening nature that he's threatening them. It's like, you're going to do this or I'm going to curse you. I'm going to curse you and your kids. I'm going to let everyone hurt you. I'm going to do everything that's going to make you miserable. Like, there's just something so hateful and wrong about that. Like, this is not coming from a loving God. He's not loving. And keep in mind that, like, he's not talking about, like, big mistakes. He's talking about even little ones. Like, he slaughtered Aaron's son simply because he accidentally lit the wrong incense. A mistake, I'm sure he never repeated again, but a mistake that was bound to happen, that Yahweh knew would happen eventually, because it seems so small and innocuous. How could a simple mistake like that not happen? And it did. And then Yahweh murdered those boys right in front of Moses and Aaron. Didn't give them any grace, any patience, no warning, no nothing. Moses even got upset with Aaron. He literally had to take the clothes off his son's dead bodies, or Moses did, off of his nephew's dead bodies, and take their bodies out. And then perform the evening sacrifices and whatnot. It's so barbaric and wrong. This whole story of Moses was barbaric and wrong. Like, I have no doubt if Moses could have seen all this play out and everything, he would have told that burning bush to go fuck itself. He would have. I have no doubt. He did not intend all this. I mean, think about it. A burning bush approaches him, promises freedom for his people and a land flowing with milk and honey, did not add any of this extra dumb bull crap. But like by that point, by the time they're in the desert, that was it. It was too late. They could never go back to Egypt at that point. Not after everything that had happened before they left. They could never go back to Egypt at that point. And Yahweh knew that. Yahweh knew that. So Moses and the Israelites were all like stuck there in that desert, having to obey Yahweh. They literally were kicked out of their home. At that point, Egypt was their home. I don't want to hear anyone say it wasn't. At that point, Egypt was their home. And they did want to go back. Many times they wanted to go back. They didn't want to leave. They said it many times. In fact, Yahweh made them take the long way so they wouldn't change their mind when they saw Egyptian armies coming after them. So they wouldn't change their mind. Yahweh knew that they didn't want that they didn't want any of that. He had literally given them no choice. He tormented and terrorized Pharaoh until it drove them out of there. Not just Pharaoh, all the other Egyptians too. So it's just a tragic story. It's just a tragic story. And then for them to go and then just commit all these genocides for all these other nations, it's just barbaric. It's barbaric, and I'm not going to pretend like it's not. But anyway, that's the Bible study for tonight. I'm sorry I had to keep it super short today. I'll make it up on Sunday. I'll make it extra long on Sunday. But anyways, have a good rest of the week, you guys.